Belfast man convicted of belly bounce assault. A Belfast man has been convicted of assaulting an elderly neighbour by using his belly to bounce her away from his home.
To bounce her away from his home.
It's just, the thing is that a bounce seems like such an inoffensive method for getting rid of a trespasser. It almost seems fun.
Yeah.
To be belly bounced. Have you ever been anything like belly bounced?
I've done it to children.
You've
been
been
like
the
you sort of
bouncer.
go boing, like that.
No.
Yeah, the bounce.
I've done
bouncer.
Superman. They're at the soles. I use the soles of my feet to hold them up in the air.
Yeah,
but
no.
belly
You
bouncing.
wouldn't do that to an old lady to get her away from your house, would you?
Off you go, love. But first, a little trip. Look at that. You're at the time of your life. Oh, did your hip just fall out?
I think the belly bounce is a very. There's the headbutt, the punch, the kick. They're all obviously much more painful. The belly bounce could just be it's like a sort of soft wall that's pushing you away. It's probably the most
humane.
Or you could probably just talk to her and ask her to leave.
Especially as it's an old lady that he's belly bouncing, this Belfast man.
I know, but I read that. She sounds like, right, bitch.
Morrison Wilson, 58, claimed he was simply trying to get the pensioner off his garden path during a dispute.
Yeah, listen to her.
What do you mean? She's annoying
engaged
him.
in a dispute.
Don't come over here causing a dispute on my garden path. Leading me up the garden path. Off you go.
I wonder what he said when he did it.
It's the BB for you, my girl. I'm going to ball about you.
I was joking when I called her a bitch. I'm sorry, she's probably nice.
Do you feel bad about it now?
I do, actually.
I wonder how Square Meal, or whatever they're called, our sponsors, feel about being endorsed by a man who calls an elderly lady a bitch.
And the man who took the mickey out of Hawking, one of our finest minds.
How does Square Meal feel about being endorsed by a homophobe, a racist, and a bigot here on a podcast?
Squarespace.
That's the shittest advert I've ever heard for anything.
What?
Just someone muttering it into a letterbox. What's that going to do?
They should
I bet
change
they'll
their
be out of business by this time next week.
We should set up a website design company called Belly Bounce. Because that sort of sounds like it would exist.
Join Belly Bounce. We'll bounce you right into the future.
Don't go to Squarespace. Go to Belly Bounce.
We're gonna belly bounce you right into the future with my varicose veins, stretch marks covered belly.
I think we're going to need a different sponsor every week.
Of course we are. They're never coming back, are they? Old Square Meal. Morrison Wilson, 58, claimed he was simply trying to get the pensioner off his path. Belfast Magistrates Court, not even a Crown Court matter. I don't know if they have Crown Courts in Belfast. It's meant to be Britain. Might do. I don't know. Heard the woman suffered injuries. Another person offended. Heard the woman suffered injuries when she fell during it. He belly bounced her right to the ground.
No.
Wilson was found guilty of common assault. When it's nothing of the sort, really, is it? I mean, how often are you belly bounced?
Common assault's not. That's things like spitting. I think you can have verbal assault. Can you?
You verbally assaulted me there, sir. Oh, you're lucky I didn't fucking belly bounce you.
It's not like grievous bodily harm or anything.
Yeah.
But I mean, if he'd kept doing it.
Wilson was found guilty of common assault, claimed the victim had been aggressive and was sticking her nose in.
Nothing specific.
Just sticking her nose in. Oh, okay. What
are you doing in there?
I don't like the way you attended to those nasturtiums, sir. Belly bounce!
Amateur!
I'll see you in a week. And still. I hope that the gate was spring-loaded, because otherwise she won't belly bounce right through the gate. She could ricochet straight back into a belly bounce conundrum and be vortexing about between the gate and the belly forever.
Like a really crap computer game. Doing, doing, doing.
Doing, 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 you silly sausage. As he spoke to a motorist, he said she'd been sticking her nose in as he spoke to a motorist outside his home. A motorist? That's just a person in a car. Who are you?
Stop this machine. What a fine machine. An iron horse.
And yet, where are the steeds that lead your carriage, sir? And no manure is laid bestrewn upon the carriageway.
What do you call this, a motor, sir? Excuse me. Boom.
I'm very curious about this magical machine.
Sorry first. Boom.
Backseat's mine! Back to my motor!
Stop sticking your nose in!
I want to be belly bounced. Ever since
I think it might feel quite nice.
Do you
remember Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks?
I loved Daddy and I loved Haystacks. I love them on ITV. It's Saturday. You're confused by why you're at your dad's now, but the wrestling's on.
Yeah.
So that'll provide some comfort. I'd like to be belly bounced between Big Daddy and Haystacks in perpetuity.
Yeah. They're both dead now, so...
Don't matter. Dig them up! Drag their skeletons out of the cold earth.
No, they've got families who are surviving.
I'd like to take this opportunity to apologise so hard for what I've done. That was ours. That's ours, and it's got to be stopped. He told Belfast magistrate... he spoke to a motorist. Who identifies as a motorist? That's just such a functional part of your life, going from A to B.
If you appear in a news story as someone who's just on the peripheries,
yeah,
as
you're
a
not
sort
important.
Of passerby or a motorist, that's not how you define yourself, right? So when you read it, you must
as
think,
a motorist,
there's more to me than that.
Motorist? What about my pens? What about my hemorrhoids? All of that dismissed out of the window, out of hand. Ridiculous and unkind. He told Belfast...
What?
That's stupid.
Oh, dear.
I'm so sorry for that, people of Belfast. He told Belfast Magistrates Court, with my big belly, because she was... Look at this for a sentence, Matt.
Right.
With my big belly, because she was flailing her hands about, I just bounced her back. It's the same sentence construction as the Ferrero Rocher lady complimenting the Ferrero Rocher party. With these Rocher, you are spoiling us.
Yeah.
With my big belly, because she was flailing her hands about, I just bounced her back, flailing.
Who pokes their nose in whilst flailing their arms about? Because one thing is like...
Get your own nose during the flail?
Yeah.
You're poking your nose in.
But poking your nose in is a
about.
different energy to flailing your arms about, so I think his story doesn't add up.
It doesn't add up. Maybe she started with a nose poke. Who's this motorist you're talking to?
And then she went,
Woo, look at me! Take me with you in your futuristic vehicle! Woo, take me to ride! Look at me go!
1, 2, 3, belly bounce!
Don't jump off! Belly bounce!
Do you think he used his belly from the side, like sort of like that?
To get momentum.
Or he just sort of like did it straight forward?
I think it's more of a thrust than a pendulous swing.
Or like a pelvic thrust, but with the belly.
Yeah, that's right. That's the way I see it, Matt. He's using the hips to push the belly forward, belly bouncing the neighbour straight out.
Who used the term belly bounce? Him?
Him. He introduces...
Right.
And then he's convicted of belly bounce assault. Now, I presume that this is not in the legislative language. Matthew, it says at the headline, man convicted of belly bounce assault.
Maybe that's been added to the legal documents now.
Yeah.
That is a thing.
We've got to do something about belly bouncing. It's like knife crime.
Sweeping the nation.
It's an ASBO for a belly bounce. Like, when there's sort of people get carried away, like, oh no, there's this new thing that's happening. What is it? It's poor people, or it's belly bouncing, or whatever.
Yeah. Mugging.
Mugging. It's an invention. Never used to hear of it, did you, Matt?
It was called street robbery before.
Why don't you call it mugging? You can.
Apparently, they did that to change the law because they wanted to be able to have stop and search powers.
There's things happening now. It's mugging.
So the street robbery had always existed, but the papers, in collusion with the government and the police, created this whole fear about mugging. There's another mugging. 10 more muggings until people stop them.
No, it's Muslims. There's another Muslim. There's a Muslim. Let me look it down your internet. Belly bounce!
Maybe the belly bounce could bring world peace because it's...
It really it knocks the wind out your sails. You're faffing around. You're worrying about your differences. Someone could belly bounce you back to common sense. I think that this fella, Morrison Wilson, who sounds like someone from a fairy tale, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Morrison Wilson, married on a Monday, Tuesday, belly bounce, belly bounce! I think he sounds like he's a person that could bring peace. According to his account, she fell backwards, landing on her tailbone area. It's like she's got an area of tailbones in her garden, like next to her cauliflowers.
My tailbone collection.
He also claimed fertiliser was thrown at him after the fall. I mean, where's this? It's like the Beano. Yeah. Too much craziness happening. Then some softies came by. Questioned by the prosecution about his claim to have bounced his neighbour away, Wilson replied, "What am I going to do?"
What am I going to do?
That's what he says.
That's one of the weirdest stories I think we've ever encountered.
Well, it's not even the end of it. He added she was very aggressive, she was getting her own way, and I knew what was coming next. What does he mean by that bit?
Well, of course he did. He's him.
Wait a minute. Looks like I'm going to do that belly bounce, am I? Yes, I am. Belly bounce!
I knew what was coming. Oh, no, he means she was going to hit me. She's flailing her arms about, oh, I know what's coming next. She's going to assault me. My only line
Hope.
of defence.
With the belly bounce,
Is this
as it has
little guy.
been. I think he thinks of his own belly like Kit in Knight Rider. Like he sees his own belly as his sort of robot sidekick.
Yeah.
His own sort of gastric pal. His own fleshy butler.
Yeah.
I keep saying things like this for
I
a
know,
while.
but keep going 'cause it's impressive.
Anyway, it's weird that he's detached from his own belly in that affair. I mean, I suppose it is distended.
Well, the belly bounce is an exclusive weapon because you've got to be fat enough to have a big belly to do it.
Sometimes when you see those very fat people that are in security, you think, aren't you too fat to even actually catch me? And then I think, I'm not Bruce Lee or anything, so I'm just in trouble anyway, whether you're going to use the belly bounce or a straightforward smack in the mouth.
Also, there's two types of very fat people.
Go on.
Soft ones and hard ones.
Who's the softies?
Well, you know people who look sort of pudgy and soft, but then there's
Give us an
there's fat people who
example
are
from
like,
the public eye.
Richard Griffith.
Richard Griffith.
Yeah, he came on
God
a radio
rest his
show
soul.
once,
Yeah.
Uncle Monty. He seems like cushiony, right?
Uh-huh.
But then sometimes you'll see someone who's rotund.
I'd
who's-
like to go sleep on Richard Griffith's tummy in life, and I worked with him once in a film, and he was very wet-eyed, delightful thespian. He told lovely stories.
Wet-eyed?
Oh, you know, glistening eyes looking off into the middle
Did you make him
distance.
cry? There's another one of those wet-eyed people.
It's very odd when I now sound fat and disgusting. The eyes went all wet.
I'd like to sleep on your big fat tummy. Oh, his eyes have got all wet with happiness.
Pull up your vest, sir. I fancy your napkins. And I'll put the old tootsies between your thighs.
She's like, go! I love it.
Look at ya.
No, but those like red, they're sort of ruddy. You know, like a Les Dawson. I think his belly's
Les.
rock hard.
If you were it's Les Dawson.
Who?
Les Dawson. How many people are going to offend in this weird racist podcast? Les Dawson. You think it would be like a barrel?
I think like if you popped Les Dawson, it'd be under high pressure like a socket. Yeah, but where some people just go, like they're like a quilt.
I get you, Matt. Either way, the belly bounce story
It's
is
a theory I haven't
an
fully worked out.
absolute hit. Okay, so we have been talking for a while now, and the amount of time we've been talking is as long as we're financially obligated
What?
to talk
No
for
way.
by your pals at Square Meal. And now it's time for Poet Laureate of the show, the beloved Mr. G, who we now know that some people are tuning in especially to hear from. If you want to talk to us, you can at russell@matt@audioboom.com, or you can go to the Audio Boom website and listen to us directly. But now here is the Poet Laureate of the show, Mr. G, summarising that claptrap using language. Don't do it, G! We are cut-in-edge pirates!
This poem is called I Sing the Squarespace Electric. There you go, Matt. A pregnant pause will give birth to a verse that's heard around the earth. To build bridges, build bellies, build Legos, build fables. For geometry is sacred. Progress should align with our maker. But we need art, need expression, need exhibitions for ventilation. But we have an innate desire to aim higher, to achieve our Optimus Prime. But will our metropolis topple us with an ancient Smith smile? Yet inside us is a light designed in waves and particles. So individual we can collaborate to belly bounce our way to a bright future remarkable.
Good work there from Mr. G. He's the Poet Laureate of the show, providing continuity between the past and the future and the goddamn present. Matthew, did you enjoy that podcast? Why have you got a single digit extended?
I'm a bit worried that we come across as odd in that. There's quite a few things we said, like, hawking, right? There was the fat people
we come
can be
across as odd?
soft or hard that
Are you
you
just
brought
learning
up,
this
which was
now?
just odd. I don't know why you would have
Yeah,
said
we
that.
came across as odd in it.
Yeah, do you think that's all right?
Well, no, but we're stuck with it. This has been the problem from day one.
We are odd, aren't we?
Yes.
Bye.
Brought to you by Audio Boom.